Don't forget to snatch your tickets now to RuPaul's DragCon, New York City.
When I think of fashion, I think of drag queens. Follow me as I interview some of your favorite queens as they model their fashions and show me what makes them iconic. I am so excited about today's iconic because the fashion world absolutely loves her. She has a massive passion for fashion. Ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only, Detox. Hello.
Hello, gorgeous.
Gorgeous.
Mwah.
Mwah.
Mwah. I'm wearing vintage Terry Mugler, but I found this at Relic Vintage in London.
Wow.
And I fell in love with it, had to have it. It barely fits me, but here we are.
Well, here's the thing that's so amazing about Mugler is the silhouette, the strong shoulder, obviously that tiny, tiny waist. All yours. But for me, it's this neckline.
Yeah.
The neckline with this gorgeous beading. It almost looks like something you would see like a very strong woman wear in a comic book.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, my aesthetic. Goals.
Love.
Marco gave me this little hat piece, and we found this amazing glitter canvas that basically matches the green really
So
well.
good.
And he just decided to cut swirls and different finger waves and kind of piece it all together to make this crazy, really tight, migraine-inducing hat that I'm wearing now.
You were like, ow, that's painful when it was going on.
Yeah, exactly. But that's how fashion is.
That's
Oh
true.
God, it hurts. It looks great.
Yeah, beauty is pain.
It is.
Beauty is pain. When do you think you first started gathering references? Because I remember ripping out pages from Harper's Bazaar magazine of all the supermodels, and I was like, oh my God, I have to be in fashion. When was that for you?
It was at an early age. I remember my sister, who was one of my biggest inspirations, she was very into fashion. And I just remember watching her and being enamored by what she was doing and being like, well, I have to do this now too. And it was searching through magazines, like you said, Harper's Bazaar and Vogue, and watching old movies with my dad. My dad loved Turner Classic Movies and watching film noir and Joan Crawford films and seeing this different kind of era of badass bitches.
Yeah.
And then, me being an effeminate kid, would always, in my head, play those characters when I would play dress up or hang out with my friends. I'd have to, slink around the house wearing a blanket as a gown.
Who are some of the people or references that influence your drag and influence you?
Well, I love an iconic woman. So Madonna.
Excuse me, did you just say, iconic? Okay, continue.
Madonna has always been a huge influence of mine. I've been obsessed with her since I was a kid. One of my earliest memories is of Madonna, on.
What's your favorite Madonna?
Oh God, I can't pick one because there's so many. I mean, Blonde Ambition is
Same. Same.
Pinnacle of Madonna. You know what I mean?
Totally agree.
Bette Midler, which you wouldn't think as a fashion icon, but just her wit and just her exuberance.
Yes.
And her cute attitude has always been something that I was drawn to. I was obsessed with Bette when I was a kid.
Same.
Cher, obviously. I mean, how could you not love Cher?
Let's just take a little trip down memory lane
Oh, God.
and take a look at your first entrance into season 5, RuPaul's Drag Race, and your amazing gag-worthy look.
Okay. Holy shit, we're here. My name is Detox, and I am 27 years old.
How did that one all come together?
I love pairing everything. I love suiting. Obviously it was very Mugler inspired. My friend Eddie DeBar made that for me, and I had been saving it for this. And actually, it's really funny. I was going to wear something else walking into the workroom of season 5. I had this whole Nagel-inspired moment. I was gonna paint myself gray and do all this crazy. I wanted to have this really cool artistic moment walking in because it's your first time walking into the workroom. It's iconic. And then I got to the hotel and I went to unpack everything and realized I left it at my apartment. So I was like, what am I gonna do? And that was the first thing that I saw, and it just kind of was almost that moment where the Bible opens and the lights shine and those bells ringing.
Yeah.
It was perfect, I got this.
All right, so now that one is down in the fashion history books. I think it's time though that we take a look at your All-Stars entrance.
Okay.
Return to the scene of the crime.
Well, this is hauntingly familiar.
Okay, so talk to us about your All-Stars look.
Well, I wanted to stay very much on brand with Detox and her obsession with Mugler. I wanted to be a little more casual. I didn't know what we were getting into. They always kind of throw us through a loop when you first walk in there. So I was like, who knows what they're gonna make us do this time? So let me pull out a beautiful piece, but one that I would be a little more
like girl on the go.
A little more girl
She's
on the
ready
go.
for anything.
She's ready, always with a pop of color.
Always. The hair was giving me a little like Glenn Close Fatal
That's
Attraction.
what I thought too, and that's another like icon to me.
Of course.
And when I first saw those, actually, it's a Mongolian lamb hat.
Oh, really?
And I saw them when I was in New York, and I found them, and I fell in love with them. So I was like, oh, that's neat. I don't even have to wear a wig. I can just throw this hat on. Who knows what's gonna happen here?
Oh my God.
But the way it moved and everything, it reminded me of, what was her character's name?
Andy.
Andy. She was the light switch.
Totally.
This one, I was probably 18 years old. This was at Southern Nights in Orlando. I had just gotten my hair bleached for the first time and was like, oh, I can naturally blend my hair into wigs now, because that's before we had lace fronts.
Oh, I see where it is too.
And it was not natural at all. This is before I had any filler. But you can still tell that, I mean, there's always parts of Detox that have not changed, and that's like her obsession with color.
Yeah.
Especially that neon yellow, that highlighter green color. A little bit of an 80s aesthetic.
The purple. She's serving you like an over-the-hand kind of fishnet moment, even though it's not intended to
Oh
be
no,
that way.
they were fishnet, they were actual fishnet tights. She was a girl on a budget.
DIY, resourceful. Nips out.
Nips out, 17-year-old Detox at Firestone in Orlando. Still with the vinyl, like a bit of a fetish-inspired, Mugler-inspired moment with the hair and the latex and the vinyl and the corsetry. Clearly it didn't fit. I was so skinny. I'm still so skinny, but I was
So
a twig
skinny.
then. Look at those arms.
Also the Robert Palmer
Yes!
Simply
Yes!
Irresistible makeup. I love it.
How did I forget that in my references? I
Oh
remember
my-
being a kid and just
Wanting to be a Robert Palmer girl?
hair
Yeah.
slicked back.
Yeah. Oh wow, this feels very early days.
Oh, that was 15-year-old me. My sister and I had this store called Echo Exchange in Orlando. It was like a vintage consignment store, and we specialized in local designers. And we would throw all these parties in Orlando. This was at Taboo, and we had like a big fetish fashion show. And so I went, this is the first time I did drag in public, and my friend did my makeup, and she named me Cornanda Cobb. And that is, so for those of you guys who watched Alaska and I's thing about All Stars 3, this is Cornanda Cobb, and that was 15-year-old Detox. That was more, I mean, that one's from probably, I don't know, maybe 10 years ago. That was when I first moved to LA. I did that picture. And she was still a little edgy, still like kind of a punk princess, a little 80s inspired. Had a little more work done.
Genie in the bottle.
A little genie in the bottle.
So what had happened work-wise then?
I had my hips and my butt done, my pecs, all my face.
And so when you started changing your body, how did that also change your fashion?
It made me a little more feminine, obviously. And
Yeah.
there was a time there where I was like kind of tinkering of the idea of transitioning, because I was hanging out with a lot of trans women. I was very influenced by that. I thought, for a long time, I thought that I was more feminine than masculine. And so there was a moment there when I was around 18, 19 years old where I was, well, maybe this is what I am. So I started, instead of doing hormone shots, just started getting silicone injections done to give myself more of a feminine shape, and that way I would already have that kind of under my belt while if I started doing the transition. Then I realized that wasn't really for me. I was more of kind of this gender fluid, gender where I didn't really associate with either of genders. So, but once I started getting work done, I started, feeling more glamorous and like being able to wear a little more things that hugged my body in different ways and showcasing those features.
Let's get into another look.
Let's do it.
Shall we spin?
Let's spin.
Category is menswear worn as women's wear with a masculine edge.
Oh, hello. Hey, what's up?
This is actually something I would wear.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. Me too.
I would totally wear all of this.
Awesome.
I would maybe wear the shirt that goes under it, but I'm not a stranger to a bra.
Well, I wanted to like show them that I was still a little bit of a lady underneath it.
So let's talk about how This is like your new kind of vibe,
Kind of.
right?
I mean, it's kind of like a freshly discovered vibe of mine. And what honestly it is comfortability. It's the most comfortable I've ever been in drag.
Yeah.
Which is, it's when we do drag as much as we do and we're traveling as much as we are and, you know, tucking is always an issue and everything always hurts. This is the most comfortable I've ever been in drag and I love it. And it's chic and it's sleek.
So you were just at Paris Men's Fashion Week, and this was kind of something I saw on your Instagram was a look that you were really featuring.
Yeah, I thought, you know, I think menswear is always really cool, especially right now with what's happening in menswear is really exciting. There's a little bit of a feminine touch to everything, and I thought it would be kind of an interesting, you know, juxtaposition of being a drag queen at Men's Fashion Week, pulling in those aspects into everything that I was doing. So everything was, you know, a little broader shouldered, a little, you know, hung a little heavier, but still had, you know, a little bit of a nipped waist and feminine touches here and there.
So this shirt is from Louis Vuitton's Spring Summer collection. And so they showed this piece actually over this shirt. So you kind of get like, you know, the really gorgeous bright gold pattern, but then with this kind of like ethereal, feminine
like a little
layer
nod to
over it.
I think he showed it with shorts too, I believe.
So cute.
So good.
So good.
Yeah.
So you interpreted this by removing this and wearing the bra underneath.
Wearing a bra underneath it. It's a men's trouser. It's from a vintage Mugler men's suit that I have. And then just nipped it in with like this old, you know, I have this huge leather Ferragamo coat from like the late 80s or early 90s. And I just put the little waist tie around it to kind of give it a little something extra.
And talk to me about the earring.
Just a little vintage inspired, right? A little bit of feminine glitz.
So I love that the glitz too, in this case, is kind of like a little bit like, it's like a dirty diamond. So it's not like a bright, bright diamond. And you've saved the glitter for your ears and your toes.
Just a little touch of things.
Listen, I think for all the queens out there, but also all the women out there who are looking for some style tips, there you go.
Well, that's the other thing. It's like I was, you know, every time I like do, especially look like this, I always think of like something that a woman would wear. Like I want to feel feminine, even though I'm a drag queen. Like I want to be chic. I want to feel like a really chic businesswoman.
Yeah.
Because I am a businesswoman now.
Absolutely.
And I thought that this would be like a really fun kind of play on menswear and drag and femininity.
Cue the PowerPoint. You're just like,
I own 51% of this company.
if you don't know it, look it up. Well, shall we change?
Josh, let's change. Should we spin around again?
Let's do it.
Oh my God.
Category is 50 Shades of Ombre. The sun rises and sets.
Hi.
Wow. What do we call her?
I honestly don't even know, but she looks like my organs. She looks like bubble gum.
She's giving me a little Madonna, Nothing Really Matters.
Yeah.
Reinvented
Yeah.
again.
The minute I put it all on with the bob and everything, we were like, oh my God, it does kind of, especially the back detailing of it.
Yeah, you just have to do like a lot of like
Just a lot of,
jerky, stop
which I'm used to.
motion.
Usually I jerk a lot, but.
So this is a designer, August Getty. Do you wear a lot of his design?
I do. August and I became really good friends when I was living in Los Angeles, and he's always kept me rocking his amazing clothes. Actually, during the All Stars 2 finale, I was wearing like a head-to-toe August suede look. Very reminiscent of this coat, actually.
It's like a little bit oversized, but with like the perfect tailoring elements.
Yeah, and I kind of love that juxtaposition too, especially like when, you know, with drag, everyone, we pad and we do all these things in order to give us an hourglass shape.
Right.
And to showcase that. So I think it's kind of interesting, you know, to throw something heavier on. And because I mean, my shape is already installed, so I don't really need to worry about finding ways to showcase that. There's a bit of an air of mystery
There is.
behind this girl.
She's building a mystery. So where do we see Detox going next? Like what is on the horizon for you?
I honestly, I don't know because there's so much there for me to pick at. There's so many opportunities, there's so many different places for my career and my direction to go, which is an amazing thing. And how lucky am I to have that kind of opportunity to say, I don't know where I'm going because there's so many options for me.
So great.
So just onward and upward, honestly, from here.
Speaking of which, what advice do you have for baby drag queens out there who look up to you and want to find their own style and are like searching for what their drag is? What do you think has helped you along the way really become your true self?
It's a good question. You know, I've always been inspired by things around me and like the 80s and music and people. And I've always kept a bit of that energy, but never really copied it. Like it's always been kind of my own interpretation of things. That's a really good way to start, is find something that you love, find your own characterization, find whoever you are as an entertainer, an artist, and an individual, and don't copy other people, don't draw inspiration from people, but make it your own. And you know, I still to this day, I go thrift storing and go to like Wasteland and go to like estate sales and different boutiques all over the world to find the pieces that I can always put together in order to make a look that's mine. And it could take you forever to find it, you know what I mean?
Totally.
You can start, and that's the fun of it though, because then you can find all kinds of other things along that journey.
Yeah.
You know, so go out there, explore your thrift stores. And this is for anybody, not even just drag queens. This is for everybody in their daily life and fashionistas who want to do that. You never know what you're gonna find. Go to little old towns where there's a lot of old people because you can find some really good there.
That's very true. Also, I think what we were talking about earlier is about being inspired. So taking inspiration from, you know, like you were saying, the 80s, the 90s, Mugler, you know, who are the artists that you're drawn to? Is there a painting, a photograph, a movie, and pulling your inspiration from there?
Even color stories. Like I always get inspired by color stories. And lately I've been really into like fully like monochromatic color blocking, like all kinds of pieces like that. And I think there's, you know, beauty that you can find really in anywhere, and just take it and don't let your own either lack of belief in your creativity or your lack of refunds or resources in order to do, not refunds. Your lack of tax refunds is gonna hold you back. But just, you know, the world is your oyster, especially when it comes to style and fashion. So
and
just go out there and have fun. There's no boundaries.
There are no boundaries, and there's actually like, there are no rules.
Yeah.
So you can do whatever you want. It's been so much fun. Thank you for spending the day with me.
Thank you so much.
Well, I know you know, and I know, and now they know why you're
iconic.